Sima Hey Ha. Hello.
Hello, Simon. Once again, I've got my testing banner up. I'm trying an old graphics driver, an older graphics driver. I tried it a little while ago, the game crashed, but then I realised I still have a CCTV software running, so that obviously works graphics. So since then I've stopped that, and it seems to be okay at the moment, but I've had this before where it all seems okay and then it all crashes again. I meant to put rockets on, I forgot. Never mind. I cannot aim at this, and the aircraft seems all over the place. It's slow to respond to the stick, so you have to try and think ahead all the time, not only in performing but then correcting, like removing that. I'm useless at aiming with this one.
Sima Hey Ha. It says testing on the screen.
Yeah, that's what I just said. I've got my testing banner up because I am testing with an older graphics driver to see if that solves problems for me. Just to check, you are receiving my voice? Can you confirm?
Sima Hey Ha. Nice.
I think I might have to adjust the curves that my stick, or that causes the game to respond to my stick. I might have to adjust those curves and make them, I'm not sure, but that'll make them more sensitive or less.
Sima Hey Ha. What's the game called, Agile?
It's called DCS, Digital Combat Simulator. It's a true simulator, not like War Thunder, which is really just a game. A good one. War Thunder is an excellent game, but it is still a game. This is more of an actual flight simulator.
Sima Hey Ha. Ain't going to go find it.
You'll need, if you want to use it, you'll need a very reasonable, at least, computer, okay? Simon, are you thinking that you're going to fly in this? Yes, is that what you're after? I'll try adjusting my controls, see how that works.
From the starter. Copy. Request rearming. Copy.
Rearming complete.
Giovanni Richards 888. Hey.
Hello, Giovanni. I think I recognise that name. Is that your first time watching my stream? Or is it only the first time you spoke?
Giovanni Richards 888. Do you like the Thrustmaster Warthog?
I do, sir. I do like. Is it? I was saying, sir. Is it Giovanni? Is that a male or a female viewer? But anyway, yes, I do. It's not as robust as I thought it should be, but I love it generally. Yeah.
Giovanni Richards 888. First time watching stream.
Okay. Well, you'll notice that the testing banner is up. I've had a number of issues with live streaming, but mainly with the Mosquito, which, as you see, the port engine always gets steamy for some reason, but I've had troubles, so I'm just testing.
Okay, nice.
I'm running now an older graphics driver to see if that will solve issues, so I'm just going to concentrate now on taking off for a minute. I'll arm my weapons first, otherwise I'll forget. Might be the wrong order, but nevertheless I will forget, so I'm doing it now. I imagine a CO would not be happy if I was arming my guns while still on the airfield, but so be it. Okay, got to concentrate on taking off now, because this is not a comfortable aeroplane for me to take off. Give me a Spitfire, I'm comfortable. This I'm not comfortable with. Right, here we go. See, whatever I do, it wants to go that direction. I'll have to take off by using using the brake to try and keep me straight. Oh, I think you've gone, have you? Are you still there, Giovanni? Let me know if you do go. If you're still there, let me know if you're going, because otherwise I'm talking to myself. Very sluggish to respond to the controls, so getting it straight and keeping it straight is a problem for me anyway. I'm going to take off the rudder trim. They say to put, no, that's wrecked the aircraft. They say to put that much rudder trim on. I'm going to take some of that off at least. See if that makes a difference, but right, it won't. I've got to get in the aircraft. Are you still there, Giovanni, or have you gone? If you're gone, tell me.
Request rearming.
Copy.
Run the starter.
Copy. Rearming complete.
Request rearming.
Copy.
On the starter.
Copy. Rearming complete.
Peter 1765. Howdy, so what in particular are you testing? Tongue-poking smiley.
Hi, Peter. I'm testing to see if DCS behaves better. I've installed an older graphics driver. I was getting a lot of trouble with DCS crashing, OBS, the streaming software, also crashing. So hopefully this will solve the issue. It's difficult to say. And I don't recognise your name, Peter, so I take it this is your first visit to my stream.
Peter 1765. Yep.
Well, in that case, welcome, sir. I hope you'll enjoy what you see. At the moment, it is test, but normally I would be. This is a server that's multiplayer, and I'd normally be in here with Laxor, Undead, and a couple of other people sometimes, and we just fly about. It's for training and it's just for good fun. There's nothing much more than that, but we just enjoy it. And I'm flying, of course, the LF Mark 9 Spitfire. Best Spitfire ever made, in my opinion. It is the top of the tree for me. I've just been flying in the Mosquito, but it is not behaving correctly. It always wants to pull to the right. I've tried all sorts of ways to get out of it. When you take off, it always wants to pull to the right, and it's not just rudder trim, and it's not that the rudder is stuck. It's almost like the right brake is stuck on the wheels, but I don't know. By the way, if you do go, Peter, please let me know, otherwise I end up talking to myself, which is a bit silly really. So please let me know if you're going to go. Just a bye or something like that is fine. So I'm going to start up, go that direction, take off in the Spit. Did you see any of the Mosquito just now, Peter?
Peter 1765. Tongue-poking smiley. Understood. No worries, I'll be here for a little while.
Yeah, roger that. Okay, well I'll jump back in and start her up. Do you want me to talk through the start up of this, or are you okay, you just want to watch?
Peter 1765. It's okay, I just want to watch.
Okay, you're welcome. So I'm sort of most of the way through the startup process anyway, so I would have had to just talk back over it. So I've primed it. I think I've primed it. I'll give it one more. I don't want to flood it. Are you familiar with DCS, Peter?
Peter 1765. Haven't really seen someone fly one of these birds. I usually fly the F-16, and I'm still learning my way through that.
Okay, well, I don't really have any jets. I have, but the jet I've got, which I only got really so that I could join someone else who had it, is not available in this server. So I'm pretty much always, because the Mosquito is badly behaving at the moment, I'm almost always going to be in this here Spitfire. So I hope that doesn't seem too boring, but it is the best plane on the planet, isn't it? Well, it is for me anyway. Okay, I'll start her up, hopefully, if I haven't forgotten anything after all my talking. Set my altimeter and my trims. Okay, I'm ready to go, so I'll taxi. See, in this one, it all works fine. I take the brake off. I don't know if you know about the way the spit works. Do you want me to just briefly explain how the spit brake taxi and the brakes and that work? Because it's not normal. Do you want me to just explain that? Only takes a second.
Peter 1765. Yes please, anything that stands out that you find interesting.
Okay, well, in the spit, when you're taxiing, you're using your brake and your rudder. In the spit, you don't have toe brakes. Now, I'm tilting my left foot forward at the moment. It does nothing because the Spitfire doesn't have toe brakes. So there's a rudder movement, but no folding forward, of the pedal for brakes. The way you brake in a Spitfire, the way you turn, is if you want to turn to the right, you give it right rudder and apply some brake. So that's full brake. I'll bring the throttle right back. So no brake. I'm going along, I want to turn right, it's right rudder, and just like that. Now it's probably easy in a real Spitfire because you can feel it with your fingers. You squeeze it with the fingers of your right hand and you'll be able to feel it, but this is just a slider. This is just a slider, so it's not quite so easy. So, and obviously to turn left it's the opposite. You left rudder and the same brake lever, and what happens is the brake system then puts the braking on the wheel that is favoured by the rudder movement. So left rudder applies braking when you use it to the left wheel. So let's go again. About 1400 revs is good enough. 14 or 15.
Peter 1765 was a Peter 1765 was a handbrake common on planes of this era.
I'm just trying to think of another one that does this. I mean, the Mosquito has the same setup, whereby you've got to use the brake and the rudder pedals in combination to make a turn. I can't think of any other plane that does that, but I'm pretty stupid when it comes to the various other planes, so there might well be, and it's just that I don't know it. I can't answer for that one. I'll point out another interesting thing, two interesting things before I take off. Well, I think they're interesting. Specific to the Spitfire. I'll tell you what, make it easier for you, in a minute I'll take off my testing banner, because although it's true I'm testing, I'm also going to be actually flying, so I'll take that off in a second. Right, brake is fully on. I'll take off that banner. Right, the other interesting point I was going to make, Peter, is over here on the right inside the cockpit. Are you aware what that is all about? That I'm circling with my, well, assuming you can see that, I think you can. You no idea what that's all about?
Peter 1765. Nope, is that for closing the canopy?
No, sir, and I'm glad you don't know, because actually like to explain this. later on I'll turn on my sight. I'll turn it off and I'll turn it on and leave it on. While I'm talking,
Peter 1765. Voice cut out.
yeah, what it's because when I use my push to talk, it uses the control key in combination with a couple of others, and when I do that I can't operate certain other things. I have to release the push to talk key in order to be able to do that. E.g. the guns. If I'm on a strafing run and I'm talking to someone, I go to squeeze my trigger and the trigger squeezes, but it doesn't fire any bullets because it ignores me because I've got my push to talk button down. But what I'm not a bit bothered about is the fact that my sight isn't coming on. In fact, the switch that should be doing that is thing. Oh, I think I know why. Hang on. Yeah, the reason that the sight wasn't being turned on was because I moved onto the other screen to take off the testing thing, which in the end I didn't do. I must have missed it. I'll do that now, hopefully. And I didn't click back onto the DCS screen. Therefore, it took no notice of any button pushes that I did, apart from a push to talk maybe. So if you had a big long gap of me not talking, did you get the explanation of the of what those things were? No, because I haven't finished it, have I? Are you receiving me now, Peter?
Peter 1765. No, I can hear you, but I didn't hear the description earlier.
Well, I don't know how far I got, because the point is my mouse pointer was on the wrong screen. It has to be on the DCS screen to make that the focus, otherwise things don't work. So anyway, it is now. I was getting concerned because I couldn't turn my sight on and off. Which I can now, because when I'm using my push to talk key, it uses the control key in combination with others, and that prevents certain things from happening. So if I'm on a strafing run and I'm about to shoot, and I'm talking to someone while I'm doing it, my guns won't work because it won't recognise that I pushed the trigger, because the push to talk is overriding everything. Right, so those three things there. Yeah, so the sight unit here, in the old days they didn't have LEDs. They had ordinary incandescent bulbs, which are obviously subject to vibration, especially guns vibrating and bouncing along the runway. And when you have that situation, the element in the bulb can blow. So they are spare bulbs for your sight. So you get into a dogfight, then you realise your bulb has just gone, so you've got no sight. So you have to pull this thing out here, put a new bulb in. Not sure what you do with the old one. Toss it over your shoulder, I guess. So that's what they're about. And the other thing I was going to say about this bit is and this is another favourite thing I like to remind people of. During the war, I think there's a woman named Mary Ellis. She used to transport aircraft from airfield to airfield, including Spitfires. And of the Spitfire, she said, she's a lady in the air, but she's a bitch on the ground. And it's a bit right, because of this business of the brake and the rudder for steering. not so comfortable. I've got used to it now, but it did take a little while. So I'm going to take off now. I won't worry about describing all that I'm going to do. I could do that another time if you want me to. So first of all, it's brake off, stick back. It's stick back, full aileron to take off. So brake is off, stick back, and away we go. I'll stop talking.
Heater 1765. Is the light bulb breaking and needing to be replaced simulated?
I suspect it is simulated, Peter, but I don't know. I think you can tell it to have occasional breakdowns, but the thing is, if it's simulated that you can have a light bulb going, then you must be able to get that light bulb and put it in, replace it, and I don't know that you can. They're not clickable items. Right. Okay, sight. Sight on, make guns ready. There's some soft targets on the ground, some trucks. It's always a good test run. Quite a nice straight as it happens. There's two to get. If I get too near that bridge, on the other side of the bridge, there are...
Do the guns use explosive rounds?
There are some tanks which are dangerous. Well, they've got 40 20mm cannon. Yeah. There's 12.5 and 20mm. So first press of my trigger gives me 12.5s. Squeeze harder, and then it's going to put out the 20mm. Tell you what, I'm going to go and attack the bridge, the tanks on the bridge, just for the hell of it. Every chance that they'll shoot me down, but doesn't matter, they're just going to have a work. I can say that, unfortunately they couldn't say that at the time, could they? I didn't close my cockpit. It was a bit noisy. That's because I was talking. I'm terrible when I'm talking, I forget to do stuff. They will start. Oh, I've started already. So I've got to weave about a bit in hopes that they will miss me and then go for them. I've got something. I've got 3 of them. The other one will skulk off into the trees somewhere. Oh no, it's not still in on the back, is it? Perhaps I damaged him and can't move. That would be good. Let's make a turn so I've had back and going. Because so far it seems okay. Maybe the newer graphics driver was causing my issues, but I was getting DCS crashes and OBS. They both go out together. That's frustrating. But then again, I've flown like this before, and then next time I go up, falls over then. I think that's got it. Yep. That's nice, all 4 tanks, that's nice. Let's go for the trucks, the fuel trucks on the road. Oops! I must have got immediately killed there. I must have hit the ground. Or at least I hope it's that. Otherwise, oh, what was that? Pilot or something? Oh no, that's destroyed. So I'm not sure what happened there. I think I must have hit the ground and died instantly without even a blackout. I'm not sure if you would have got it before when I was speaking, Peter, but the other thing is, if you decide you've had enough now and you're going to go, just let me know so I'm not talking to myself.
Peter 1765. But your soul continued flying.
Yeah, it seemed to, didn't it? Either that or the GoPro that was in the spit ended up going flying through the air from the impact.
Peter 1765. Can you imagine if the AI caused the vehicles to scatter into the forest after the initial engagement?
Well, that's pretty much what they do. Whenever you attack them, yeah, those ones on the bridge, they do all. I think they all go into the forest, or perhaps one of them might be on the other side of the railway. But yeah, they do. They go into the forest, so they've got a much more difficult task. They sit under the trees. But they are gone now because, as I say, this is the server. It's not like a quick action thing where if you go in again it starts up again. Those items are now shot up. So let's get started up. I'll try to remember what I've done and what I haven't done. Maybe I'll remember to close my canopy on takeoff this time.
Peter 1765. Did you notice an improvement to general aerodynamics when you closed the canopy?
I didn't notice, but that's probably just because I'm not a very good pilot. It probably goes a bit faster, and that's one of the reasons. Another reason why you open the canopy when you're going to land, it helps give some drag, helps it to slow down. But of course the rules on this apparently are that when you take off with your canopy open, then you close your canopy during flight, and when you're coming in, before you land, you open your canopy again. And the point of that being that if you have a mishap on the runway, the ground crew don't want to have to smash through a canopy to get you out. They want the canopy open already so they can just oink you out straight away. That's the story, and that's what I try to do. But coming into land, I should remember to close my canopy and put my prop pitch to fully fine. in preparation for coming in. So let's taxi and take off.
Peter 1765. Wow, that's interesting. It makes sense, given this was before ejection seats became a thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I don't tend to have to think about ejection seats because I don't fly the jets. I could do. I could buy them. I bought. No, well, I think the one I did get was a free one. They just don't hold the magic for me. Piston engines hold the magic, not jets. Yeah, the jets are fast. That's great. They've got amazing armament. Yeah, that's great. They don't hold the magic that the piston engine aircraft hold for me. I've got a P51 as well, but I tend not to fly that at the moment because I've got some setting up to do on it. Something happened and a lot of the settings have got to be remapped, and that's something really I need to be offline and sit one afternoon and get it all mapped again. Right, quick check. Yeah, just as well because I haven't set my altimeter and I haven't done my trims. Okay, I think I'm good to go. When we're flying together, when I'm flying with Laxor, we've each got sort of 3 push-to-talk buttons for different purposes. So occasionally you'll hear someone rabbiting away, one of either me or Laxor will be rabbiting away and say, "Oh, sorry, wrong key," because we'll be talking all over the other person's stream. Because we've pushed the wrong button, because I'm currently pushing a button that means it's only speaking to my stream. If I use the other one, it would talk on Laxor's stream as well if he was streaming at the time. Okay, I'm shutting up. I'm going to take off. Break off. So now the Spitfire won't let me stick my head out when the canopy's closed. The Mosquito, which obviously still has, you know, some things to do on it, it will let me do it, which it shouldn't really. So there's still things not right on it, and I think another thing that's not right on it is the business of it pulling to the right when you're taking off, heavily to the right. Oops, I haven't got my sight turned on, which I haven't got my guns ready. No, I haven't. Except 4 by the looks of it. The other thing about this testing is I want to see if it goes wrong after a while. And 2 left. But those
Peter 1765. How accurate is the bird when doing dive attacks on a column of vehicles from high altitudes?
Well, that's not something I'm really good at. Once again, I'm pretty shallow, really, aren't I? To do I mean, if you're at high level, first of all, you've got to see the items to be able to hit them. I mean, you can see I'm not high, but they are just dots. So if I was high level, I just wouldn't see those. And obviously, I can fire my guns now, but they'll be spraying all over the place. And that's what the sight, illuminated sight, is all about, to get the right distance and size right before you fire. And the sight is adjustable, of course. Range and base feet. Hoping I've got enough 20mm to take out that last tank, because you can't really knock them out with 12.5s. Yep, he's gone. Okay, I'll do a landing then, hopefully. So, prop switch fully fine. And open the canopy. I'll put my gear down at about 140 and drop my flaps at about 120, I think. If it all suddenly goes off, you know that it's all crashed for you. Okay, gear down. And back.
Peter 1765. After you land, can you explain what the box on the right of the canopy is for?
Measure that stand on.
Peter 1765. Sorry, the left asterisk.
Measure that. Now we're going to get to the bitch on the ground stage. Getting your wheels down in a spit is not the end of the landing by any means. Now is when it starts to fight and go all over the place. Probably because of the slim wheelbase. That's not a bad landing at the end of all that. I'm okay with that. Let's jump out. See, like the 109, it's got a very slim wheelbase, so I think that's probably why it's a bitch on the ground. I'm just looking to see if I've been hit. I don't think I have. So I don't have to get repaired, just reloaded. I'll put the flaps up. Look at those flaps, they're like air brakes. And they're either up or down. There's not you can't set an intermediate position on them. Okay, I'll get reloaded. I use voice attack, by the way, Peter. I don't know if you know about voice attack.
Request rearming.
Copy.
Right, so you want to know the box on the left? Yeah, that's the radio.
Peter 1765. I use it for Elite Dangerous. It's a pretty awesome software.
Yeah, and of course it's free if you only want to, 20 commands in one profile. The only thing is, I find that it's not as reliable as I want it to be. Every now and again, for whatever reason, which I don't know, I'll push my button. I don't know if you're hearing the little bloop bloop sounds when I push my button to get onto comms and select things from the menu. But sometimes I push that button and it doesn't take any notice of me whatsoever. Or I'll push it once, say something very clearly, it ignores me. I'll push my button again and it doesn't respond at all, and then it goes into a sulk. So and sometimes it'll do stuff when you haven't even said anything. It'll just sort of it'll say didn't recognise if or something like that. It'll just say something like that. So I don't know why that is. It's most frustrating, but it's a brilliant piece of stuff when it's working. I love it. I wouldn't want to be without it, even though it's not as reliable as I'd like it to be. I'm reloaded, so I'll get ready and take off. Reset my trim. Flaps are up. Oh, that's straight enough, good enough for jazz.
Peter 1765. Yeah, I've had a interesting experience with it. It doesn't like my accent, so sometimes I have to repeat myself several times too.
Okay, well then that begs the question, Peter. What accent would that be?
Peter 1765. New Yorkian.
New Yorkian, okay. I'll tell you what, I've got to tell you a little story about that. Years ago, my late wife and myself, we went to States from UK. You've probably gathered that I'm UK.
Buttons 440.
Hello,
Howdy,
Buttons.
mates.
Howdy, Buttons. Talk to you in a second. Yeah, I went to the USA for a tour called New England in the fall, because of the beautiful colours that you get there. So anyway, we were in New York. It's actually the following day after we left New York to go on. That's when Hurricane Sandy hit. So quite memorable in various ways, that trip. But we were waiting at the elevators. I nearly said lift, but I'll say elevators just to be friendly. And there's a bunch of us there with all our suitcases, and there's a big guy. If you can picture John Candy, it could almost have been John Candy, because it's that build, big guy, nice sort of friendly guy. He said, and he asked us what we were doing, and we said about coming to see New England in the fall. And he said, "What?
Buttons 440.
You jump?"
Some of us are still a little miffed about Sandy.
I bet you are, Buttons. Hold on a second. Yeah, so this guy that looked like John Candy, he said, "What, you jumped the pond just to come and look at some leaves? Don't you have any leaves of your own in England?" What a great guy. It's a good tour. We enjoyed it. And when we came back, we then came through like the tail end of Hurricane. We had to, from Sandy, we had to come back from Boston instead of, as planned, JFK. Right, now I believe, oh yeah, hello Buttons again. Sorry, I didn't acknowledge you properly. Yeah, I don't recognise that name, Buttons, sir, so I'm guessing that this is the first time you've viewed my stream. And I have been
Peter
testing tonight.
1765. Laughing smiley LOL. Yep, that sounds about right.
But if you say you picture John Candy, that big guy, sort of a big friendly bear, great guy. So Buttons, are you receiving me? What I'm wondering is, have you? I'm guessing you haven't joined me on my stream before.
Buttons 440. Gregarious is the word that comes to mind.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was. So, whereabouts are you, Buttons? And can you confirm if you're new to my stream tonight? I'll just straighten up a bit. I might as well while I'm waiting.
Buttons 440. New Jersey. I'm new.
New Jersey. New Jersey. Yeah. Okay, well, I've been closer there then, haven't I guess. And I've obviously clicked onto my other screen, haven't I? Because it's not responding. Let me just... If I click away from the DCS screen for whatever reason, it loses
Buttons
contact.
440. I'm looking for ideas for a mission. Your stream is perhaps the inspiration.
Okay, well, this mission was put together by Laxor. He's one of the people that I will fly with when in this server, and he designed the mission. What he was working on, he's working on the idea like War Thunder. If you into War Thunder at all, it has these enduring confrontation things, and they're good. They're good fun, but of course it's not a flight sim. It's not the same as this. So his idea was to get something like an enduring confrontation where you've got capture points and things like that, but in DCS. And he's still got a way to go on that, and he's still got some things to figure out. But yeah, that's the plan of it. I'm just going to straighten up a little bit. Okay, I now have to shut up so that I try to remember everything I need to do. Not that there's that much. Right, break off and away we go. Yeah, so buttons, I've hit some ground units already. There are some 109s flying about somewhere. They're not aggressive, but they do give you the chance. I say this is this server it's good fun, and it's a lot of it is just for practice. So you can practice flying around shooting 109s. I'm not that good at it, but it's all good fun, good practice.
Buttons 440. I wonder if that is how ARR Merlin sounds. I think there are some functioning motors out there to get the sound files off of.
Yeah, I don't think it sounds that much like it, but it sounds good. But I don't think it sounds that realistic. In FS 2020, you can have a Spitfire, and that they did actually sort of record Spitfire engine sounds for that, so that is very good. I can't say this doesn't sound like an engine, a Spitfire engine from the inside, because I've never been inside a Spitfire when it's flying, and they won't let me have one because I don't want a two-seater, you know what I mean? Oh, they're all dead. Oh no, they're not all dead. What happens is when you shoot all of those, they respawn. I can't believe that they are there and I missed all of them. That's just not on. That's not the case. So there must still be one of them alive, and they won't respawn as shootable objects until they've first all been hit. But they respawn on the areas that are black and charred, so you know you can easily think that that's where they are. I think this one is one to one side here. I'm guessing that these two maybe need to be dealt with to get them to respawn. Yeah, that one wasn't dead. So when I get the other one that's moving roughly towards that unit, they will all respawn.
Buttons 440. Power lines.
Yeah. I found them earlier. If you fancy a bit of music on my YouTube channel, on my playlist, on my uploads playlist, there's one of them where I downloaded some music, a really nice band orchestral backing, and put my own vocals over it, as properly as I could, to come fly with me. So if you fancy looking at that, just for a bit of fun, it's there if you want. But the band backing was brilliant, free as well. I'm seeing vehicles where there weren't any before, so I'm not quite sure what that's all about. So those three closest to me, I'm sure they weren't there earlier. I mean, they should be spawning in on that straight line of soft targets. Buttons, are you still there?
Jovany Richards 888. How new is your TMW? Buttons 440. I had Rule Britannia stuck in my head yesterday while at work. I only know the chorus, so for 8 hours it was the chorus on repeat in my head.
Okay, I'm going to have to scroll back over the, I'm going to land and I'm going to scroll back over the chat because I know there's a couple of bits that I missed there. So bear with me folks, if you've said something and I haven't responded, I will land and check back over the chat. I'm saying I will land, that sounds very confident, doesn't it? Prop pitch fully fine. Open the camera. But the reason I was wondering if you're there is because there's another aspect to this mission that you might be interested in, which I'll fly to once I've landed and got rearmed. I'll fly there and you'll see what I'm doing. Probably got some speed on too fast. Okay, get in. And flaps. Okay, I'll get rearmed and I'll scroll back over the chat.
Request rearming.
Peter 1765. Smooth landings. I aspire to have my F-16 landings look that good.
Thank you. I think you might find it easier on the on the F-16. As I said earlier on, for those that weren't privy to what I said before, of the Spit, it's been said she's a lady in the air, but she's a bitch on the ground, because she's once you're on the ground with a Spitfire, she takes a lot more controlling and care than when she's in the air.
Rearming complete.
Okay. So when you take off, you're dancing on the rudder pedals like this, just to try and keep us straight, and you'll stick back full right aileron, and gradually you're going to bring that back to normal position. And once you're up and airborne, your gear is up, you're comfortable. I have to set my RPM, my prop pitch, to give me a RPM of 2,700. Readjust my trim. I'm glad I said that, because I've still got the wrong trim for takeoff. That's better, that's better. Right, let me just scroll back over the chat. My TMW, I assume you mean my your Thrustmaster Warthog TMW. I've never seen it referred to as that before, which is crazy, but how new? Oh, I've had it a couple of years. It's not as robust as I thought it should be. The little pinky button, or pinky switch over here, me one for nothing. Oh, Rule Britannia buttons, yeah. Yeah, well, it could be worse. I think there's worse songs I've stuck in your head, but yeah, it can happen. And usually it's a song you don't like when that happens. Right, so okay, so what I'll do, Buttons, if you're going to be there for a second, I'll take off and go to the other area, which is like, there are some insurgents. So you've got infantry on the ground, cars. There's a post that shoots at you from that point, and the infantry shoot at you as well. So I'll go over that direction to show you what I mean. So brake off. Except, now I don't know if you got, hold on, yeah, you can hear me, yeah, it's not, these buttons are not working. See, look, because I'm clicked onto the chat window, I have to click onto the DCS, actual DCS window. Now it works. So I have to be careful where I've clicked or not clicked. Right, okay, brake is off. I'm gonna get rolling. I think I'm good enough. Yeah, that's good enough. Okay, stick back, full right over, throttle up, brake is off, here we go.
Buttons 440. Have you ever thought to have your stream on a tablet or your phone, so you can see chat?
Yeah, hang on, Buttons. I can see the chat anyway. It's just that it's not very big. It's just that little square, which I think you can probably see on your screen. Not sure where it'll be for you. Probably on the left hand side, yeah. So I can see it, but I have the voice on because something suddenly appearing on the screen doesn't make a noise. So I have it read it for me so that I know that there's someone trying to get across. I think the 109s have probably gone home. Over there, you see a pile of smoke. That's a capture point that Latchel's put in. And there's various ground units over there that will shoot at you.
Buttons 440. I like that text-to-speech solution. It's quite nifty.
Yeah, that's right. It's helped me because a number of times I'll be flying and people have put messages on and suddenly I look down and I realise there's a load of stuff that I haven't seen. But I don't want the window to cover up too much of my game window. And I don't want that on a different screen because then I've got to look around, I've got to look elsewhere to find it. So I prefer to have it right in front of me. What I can do is get rid of these. I'm not sure if you could see them, but there's all the such and such a person spawned into this, so I did that. I don't need that. But I want it visible just out the corner of my left eye. I suppose I should say the left corner. Anyway, I want it visible just to one side, but then the voice calls my attention to the fact that someone's speaking. There's a black splodge in that green field just in the middle of my sight, and that comprises infantry and cars, and just to its left as we look at it there's a gun emplacement. It's just like a tower, a lookout tower with a gun on it. And what does to me? I'm just wondering whether I'm going to start suffering any freezing and dropouts. The reason I was testing this earlier on is because I'm running an older version of my graphics card driver to see if it will solve issues that I've been having over the past few weeks. Right, I've got to stop talking now, so I'll get a phone. There they are, you can see cars and infantry.
Buttons 440. Hi Bill, I'm off to the store. I really enjoyed your stream.
Oh, okay, Buttons, thank you for letting me know. That's the main thing. That's very courteous and very helpful, so that when there's only one
Buttons
person and they disappear,
440.
I'm talking to myself.
It must be late for you, so enjoy the rest of the night.
Well, it's only 10 to midnight at the moment. We often fly till 3 o'clock, 3:30 in the morning for us, because that's when people join us from the USA, and of course it's a lot earlier for you. Yeah, thanks for joining. Glad you enjoyed it.
Peter 1765. Going to go grab some dinner, but likewise have a good night. Peter 1765. Enjoyed watching you fly.
Thank you, Peter. Enjoyed having you guys here. It's really quite good to be able to interact. So yeah, thanks for joining. Perhaps I will catch you another time. Yeah? Hopefully take out this gas cylinder on the way home. Yep. So anyone that's still there, and we're going to go, yeah, thanks for joining me, and catch you another time. Good night to you. This looks like the freeze and drop out.